Introduction. During the time when Jane Austen lived, there were three distinct social classes: high class, middle class, and low class. We often see an interaction between the high and middle class in Jane Austen's novels, such as Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. In all Jane Austen's novels, she focuses more on how women lived. Therefore, in the following presentation, we will put an emphasis on women of the middle class.
Money. The heritage is passed from father to son. This is one of the reasons why women are urged to find a good husband. The person's money depends on his profession. For a girl who doesn't marry a wealthy man, she can always find herself in the circumstance where she marries another person in the same class as her, so they can combine the money together, such as Eleanor and Edward in Sense and Sensibility.
Marriage. Women often married to secure their social position. Therefore, happy marriages were uncommon because women would marry by duty and not for real love. Once a girl marries, everything that belongs to her becomes her husband's possessions. The only way a woman can get divorced from her husband is if his mistress lived in their house. The marriage settlement is a legal document to prove that the woman is entitled to have a certain sum of money. This had to be shown before the marriage took place.
Titles. A girl was entitled as a Miss if she wasn't married. Married women were called Mrs. or Lady, followed by her husband's last name or full name. In Sense and Sensibility, Lucy's name after marriage became Mrs. Robert Ferrars or Mrs. Ferrars. Jobs. Usually what women from the middle class do when they don't marry is becoming a governess in order to make a living. A governess should always be present 24 hours a day in the household of whomever she works for. Her job is basically to tutor the children of the family, take care of them, and do whatever the owner of the house wants or needs. A governess is not a maid. She takes more care of the family than the house itself. She earns between 10 and 20 pounds a year and can only have maybe a week of holiday per year. Otherwise, married women of the middle class would stay at home as a housewife since their husband has sufficient money to support the household. Social activities. The popular games at the time were chess, backgammon, draughts, and dominoes. Art was more accessible to middle-class women, such as reading, drawing, painting, playing music, and singing.
Way downstairs, Emma.
Dance. In the 18th century, dance was considered as an extra quality. Dancing was a way to portray their image and social status. It was also a good opportunity for a girl to get noticed and to find her potential husband. Unfortunately, They didn't have big houses to organize balls, so they would wait for the full moon to come to organize a ball outdoors.
Clothing. Women wore dresses. They would never wear pants. The dress would always reach their ankles, and they would usually cover their heads with a cap.
Education. In the 18th century, male members of a family had a better opportunity to get an education than female members did. This is obviously why men had better chances to succeed in a professional way than women did. Food. Food preservation was rare due to lack of refrigeration. Therefore, the meat was always rotten, but they still ate it at times. They also ate fruits and vegetables, brown sugar, and brown bread since they were not the richest people of the society. Luckily, the less fortunate people were healthier than the rich ones. Conclusion. Finally, there is not much difference between high class and middle class women, speaking generally. But when it comes to properties and possessions, middle class women logically do not have as much as the high class women did. All women's main goal was to marry well, to have a stable future or living. All women lived by the same social standard, no matter what their social status was. As long as they maintained that social standard, everything was solved for them.